had a tour for the past couple hours. All right, look at me. You guys give me a second here. Looking a mess here. First of all, hope everybody's doing good. That's number one. Number two, I got a little cold. As most of y'all know, I was on the elements last night, but for a good course. So yeah. And I didn't tell y'all what the course was and why I was in New York. I was in New York last night. I was live in New York last night. Somebody asked me, "Where you at?" I'm in New York. I had to be there. So I'm sitting here today and I'm watching the Star Report. Right? I'm watching the Star Report. What's going on, Jaguar? I'm sitting there and I'm watching the Star Report, right? And so, thank you, fam. I appreciate that. I'm sitting there and I'm watching the Star Report. And as I'm watching the Star Report, I see Star come up. And Star says at the time, "Hey, Jaguar Wright just did a sit down with Storm Monroe and some other chick that's, I think, Frank Berry or something like that, wife, ex-wife or something. I don't know. Widow, maybe. God bless his heart." And so I'm like, okay, let's see what she had to say. So he plays a video clip to not embarrass her. I'm not going to say what was entailed in the video clip. What I will say, in other words, though, is I know what I heard. I know what I heard. And I think that's where you got a problem at. So I don't think in this podcast is meant in malice. No, quite the opposite. It's meant to help you. So let me tell you what I mean by help. Many of y'all may not know who the Star Report is. He's very known here in New York City, tri-state. He's a radio personality, formerly of Power 105. This is before DJ MB. No, actually, this is before DJ MB, before the Breakfast Club and everything else. He helmed the Power 105. At that time, the space was owned by, God, I forgot the company. But it was before these guys that have them now, which I know two people over there, and I'm trying to think, iHeart. So he now's been doing podcasting probably for the better part of almost a decade now here on YouTube. And so he played this clip with Storm Monroe interviewing Jaguar. This is recently, and Jaguar alluded, just to keep the suspense a little bit there, and she didn't even allude to it, she plainly said it. And you'll have to find that for yourself. I'm not going to repeat what she said here because I don't want it to come off as the intention. I'm trying to have some type of, what's the word I'm looking for there? I don't want it to come off like I'm trying to have some type of, I'm the one to expose it all or some shit like that. That's not my purpose here. My purpose actually is to help you, Huggy. Huggy, you did 3 things wrong. And if you were with me the other day, any of y'all, do you remember when I said to Huggy, I said, don't go over there with that dude no more? Do y'all remember me saying that about that? I said that. I said that. I literally said it word for word. I said, don't go over there with that guy no more. I said, you're hustling the New Zealand guy and the Australian guy and the Irish guy and the, him and his fucking, what is she? I forgot, him and his Sheila. I put it that way. That Sheila that's the true one right there. That's the leader of all of them. That's the leader. Him and his Sheila. That was probably him checking in just now. That's why he logged off. You know what I mean? I don't care about that. I know what you are. You know what I mean? Your effervescence speaks before you get in the room, and I ain't gonna let you fool him. Even the one I don't know, I'm not gonna let you fool him either, because he was speaking very highly of you, but I can see right through you. You fooling them, but you ain't fooling me, Sheila. So anyway, long story short, and I'll expound on that in a minute too. Because listen, I might say what I say on here or whatever, but at the same case, I'm not going to let you run into a fucking brick wall. I don't care if I know you or don't know you. That part is cultural about me. Eh? So listen, You said what you said, Huggy, and he was able to play the clip of what you said. So I can't sit there and act out and say or pretend that ain't the reality of what it is. You did say that. In fact, you not only said that, but you said his name at the end of what you said. I'm gonna say it like that. You know what I mean? That way, like I said, I ain't with all to try to expose her, nothing like that. What I'm trying to do is help her. Your husband, because I was simultaneously through both of these. So look at the timestamp when I started this, and you'll understand. I was between both of you guys' lives. Both of you. Your live and the Star Report's live. And so and at one point I just started playing. Never mind. Anyway, long story short, you lied to that man tonight. Not Star. The guy that in all sakes and measures seems like he loves you. And you lied to him. And when he hear what's played, and I'm gonna leave that up to y'all, that's y'all relationship. But when he hears what's played, if he's the kind of person I think he is, he's gonna be led in the core. He's gonna start having some doubt. So my suggestion to you, Huggy, when y'all get offline, don't start talking about what this podcast is saying and nothing like that. Don't take him in the room and kind of happy. I like that. I like when I see Huggy kind of jovial and everything like that or whatever. You know, there's a song by Kenny Rogers. It says, you got to know when to hold on, know when to fold on, know when to run away, know when to run. You can't say stuff like that, Huggy. You say stuff like that, it puts you in the kind of the kind of space that Misha's in. You understand what I'm saying there? You understand what I'm saying there? Listen to me. Listen to me. Now, if you do that, what do you think the counters are of that? See, I'm a person, I'm not here to necessarily defend anyone, no matter whose presence I might be in, presently or previously. My point is, I'm an advocate for the truth. I'm an advocate for the truth and all that shit, right? But what I ain't an advocate for is throwing some motherfucking marinara in the sauce when it don't need to be. You understand what I'm saying? It says season lightly. You don't need no seasoning if it's the truth. And so when you add seasoning, and you add seasoning on a public foray, and it can be documented, that's exactly what you said. It doesn't matter how much slick talking you do out of Philly. It doesn't matter how much slick talking you do, whatever. There's going to be a preponderance of people that are going to go against you. And that's the direction you're heading. And I've seen you do this now 4 times. Stop adding fucking marinara to sauce that's been cooking with basil and tomatoes. Why you throw ragu in there for when you got a perfectly good mix already? You understand what I'm saying here? So my advice to you is, Huggy, from now on, moving towards the future, and I'm talking about Jaguar Wright in case you're wondering, if you're confused, don't say things like that. Number 2, don't say things like that, especially when I literally tell this broad, and I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you guys. You guys think like the people y'all paying attention to don't know shit, and the people you should be paying attention to or whatever. It's a goddamn shame. Dave's got to come up and promote Gary when Gary been there for many of these things. It's a damn shame that we got to take the Piers Morgan before we find out who Choke No Joke is, regardless how you feel about him. We are the guys that were actually around when all this shit was going on, reportedly. You understand what I'm saying? And I mean in regard of, we didn't see any of this shit. None of it. And so, or hear murmurs of it or anything else during those times. And maybe, yeah, there's a possibility that doesn't mean it didn't happen. But at the same time, when you add ragu to perfectly already good sauce that's already been simmering, it's got the basil added, a little pinch of tomato rind. You know, everything's going good, and you just, let me throw this ragu anyway. And this only happens when you go to the urban markets, Huggy. Now, who was here the other day when I told her, don't sit down with that guy, I said, that's a bad idea. I said, you keep your money and your market value by messing with the entities that you're messing with right now, which I'll get into them in a minute too. But you'll make your money and you'll keep your market value if you deal with those guys. You don't want to do that. Oh, no. I'm going to go back over here with the guy that promotes women. You got two sons, had two sons. Jaguar Wright had two sons. And you over there kicking and gallivanting with a motherfucker that was promoting a woman on his channel and brought her back several times, talking about she exclusively was advocating for the extermination of black male babies exclusively. One Cynthia G. And with all that intelligence you got, you never looked in on that and saw what I was talking about. You would be disgusted, Huggy. I know what I heard on the Star Report. You called up Storm Monroe doing your show tonight. I saw that. He was stuck. He was stuck. And when the time is right, and he sees he can make an opportune moment off of it, he's going to do that, Huggy. He's going to turn on you again. What's wrong with you? I said, don't go over there. Don't go over there. I literally said this in my live, not even 2 days ago. I said, don't go over there. She is the epitome of Taurus. Us Taurus on the latter end of Taurus spectrum, meaning our birthdays are later and closer to Gemini, we're not like the early born Tauruses. The early born Tauruses, they think they know everything. Everything. They got the answer for everything. They know how to move on everything. But us latter born Tauruses, after the 10th, we know better than that. I don't know. It's just something in us that's different. Still Taurus, still all the attributes, but different. She's a Taurus. Which makes it's kind of funny she won't listen to what the fuck I'm telling her, right? So anyway, Huggy, I was there live on the show tonight. He played that clip that Storm Monroe played, and you very well did say that. If you had not said his name at the end of what you said, it would have been different. But what I don't like is it's not about what you said about Jay-Z. I mean, hell, Jay-Z's doing good. Didn't you see the pictures? I mean, I was in New York last night. I don't know. Well, you guys should start donating more. You'll get things on camera. Or don't. Anyway. Anyway, long story short. You said that, Huggy. And you said his name at the end. And you said it in front of two witnesses. Now, why am I talking about this? Huggy, you prepared to be a witness? Did you think that was going to be a boost for Tony Bugsby? Stay away from that guy. Stay away from that guy. Now, you don't have to listen to me again if you don't want to, but don't you notice the pattern, Huggy? Every time I tell you something that happens just like that, listen to me, dog. I'm telling you. Stay away from that guy. I don't know. I just heard something. Stay away from that guy. I might have heard it yesterday, day before yesterday. I don't know. I heard something. You know? No, you don't have to believe me. I like when people don't believe me, bro. I'd rather that. But if you do believe me, stay away from the Storm Monroe guy, too. I wouldn't even have him on my show for the next week, to tell you the truth. Say, fade away. That way you can act like it didn't happen. But if you keep talking about it and quit and keep trying to force the point, it then starts to break apart. And that's happened to you before, remember? So, unlike you guys are new to Huggy. I ain't new to Huggy. You understand? Yeah. Same guy I'm talking about, Storm Monroe's got a video of me on his page. Same guy I'm talking about, Storm Monroe, and this is the part Huggy Pampers is missing. Same guy, Storm Monroe, was announced by Star on the show tonight that he said, my friend, now check this out, Huggy. I told you this is the most important podcast you want to hear in your life. And I would implore you and your boyfriend to go back and replay the joint if it comes out like that and y'all get into this argument or whatever. But I'm hoping y'all don't. I hope y'all really stay together. I really do. Because like I said, she kind of looks like she's happy with you. But here's the May. Star says some key words. Star said, my friend Storm Monroe, who I met and had lunch with before, and I know that Star's style because Star's offered me that. He does that for two reasons: to see if you're a greedy fucking fuck and you want to stuff your face or whatever, or you actually want to take a meeting and have some discussions. This is the reason he does it. There's two reasons he does it. Classic Jersey, North Jersey. So this guy, he says, this is my friend Storm Monroe, and I asked Storm Monroe if I could use this section particularly of the video to replay. He didn't say a quarter of it. He didn't say the whole half of the video. He didn't say, I want to be very clear here so I'm not exaggerating, all right? I don't want anybody to think I'm exaggerating. He played that particular portion of the video, Huggy. You need to listen to this. And he referred to Storm Monroe as his friend. He referred to Tasha K as someone he adored and was his friend. Do you not understand what's going on? So if that's what he's saying, that means that the Storm nigga is sitting over there talking to you. He's privy to what previously happened between you and Star, however you put in the metrics of that. And that means that when you call Storm, he wasn't surprised at all. He was just surprised. How did she get on so quick? And I told you once again, I said it 2 days ago. You need to start listening and staying in my chat room a little bit more, Huggy. You might learn some things. I ain't got no problem with the truth. But what I do got a problem with is if you press the truth from evolving. Now, in private, I want you to apologize to you know who. You know what I'm talking about. Because you acted startled and you had to do that for the camera. I get it. But after your podcast is over, you apologize to that fucking man. That's all I'm going to say. And you know I ain't talking about Star. Don't let that happen again. That's very dangerous. Don't let that happen again, hubby. You could potentially get Storm Monroe's whole channel taken because that appeared on his channel. Storm is under the contention that he's not responsible for his videos or what's said on his videos based on the fact that the guests are saying these things. Oh no, this is not true, Storm Monroe. And I would implore you to get updated with your lawyers as far as what the procedure is now. And I would also like to add that the reason Elon Musk is really put in place is to kind of do what you call a funneling of social media. Things are about to change. What do you think? So, Huggy, don't think of it as this is a diss song. This is a love song. Watch what the fuck you are saying. Because in the end, if these motherfuckers are put under pressure, who do you think they're going to tell on? They don't tell on you. Oh, we love you, Jay. Don't believe that shit. You've been through that before. Hell, I went through that shit in the industry. We love you, bro. I love you. I can't get one of them to give me $1,000 in a cash out. Millionaires. Anyway. You want to talk about Jay? Talk about Jay. You don't like Jay? Fine. But be careful. Be careful. Because, baby girl, one thing you and I are both familiar with is jail cells. Ain't that right, Anton LaVey Atwood? It's funny. One program, and I don't like, I don't, it's not that I don't like him. I actually like some of the things he says. I like some of the material he's got. What I see a clear window through though, and I got to speak about him real quick because I heard you and your Sheila was on there today. Him and his Sheila. Oh, Irish. Atwood. Good day. His accent is almost Irish. It's actually not even British or Australian. His accent is almost Irish, full Gaelic Irish. I have a lot of them that live in Jersey. You ever heard Gaelic spoke? Oh man, ain't no shit you're gonna learn overnight right there. I've heard it spoken. I had some Irish guys one time. Jersey got a lot of Irish people. They were in AC. And I got somebody that was with me that can back the story up. So it was me, and I was on the dance floor and I was dancing with this girl. Clearly, she later on though, she was Irish. Well, she was with a whole group of Irish dudes. And when I say the whole group, it was probably like 9 of them, and it was like maybe 4 of us plus 3 girls. And so I started dancing when we was having fun or whatever, whatever. One of them must have been her brother or whatever, and another fat fucker. And they came up to me and they tapped her, said something to her, and she moved off from me or whatever. And I said to him immediately, I said, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?" And he followed behind and he told me, "Yo, that's my sister. I don't want my sister dancing with nobody or whatever, whatever." I said, "Well, let me buy her a drink. Then can I buy her a drink?" Guy says to me, "Nah, she don't need no drink. I'll buy her a drink if she needs one or something like that, whatever, whatever." I said, "All right, well, let me buy you a drink." So he walks over to the bar with me, sits down with me. I buy him a shot. He drinks the shot. I drink the shot or whatever, whatever. We just stare at each other like at any moment one of us is gonna punch one another. That doesn't happen. He looks at me, he says, "You know what? I don't fucking like you." I said, "I don't like you either." And he orders another fucking I swear to God, that's the truth. And it was the funniest shit moment I ever had in my mind. Later on, I ended up hanging with them. And more than I was hanging with the people I came there with. I swear to God to you. So it ain't about that. But with old Mr. Atwood, and Irish eyes a smiling Danny boy. The youth. Old Danny boy over there. Let me tell you something. Y'all over there praising old Sheila, his Sheila he got with him. You know, a little elderly woman. You better watch yourself. See, one of the things I tell people all the time on here, and listen very well to me. One thing I tell people on here all the time is all my whole entire life, I've lived around some form of white people. And this is a God honest truth. Since I was a kid, my first girlfriend was white. It go that deep. So I've always been embedded with the culture as far as like recognizing the culture where others will be embedded where they're actually assimilated. I'm not assimilated. And I learned very early on, as long as you, because they can look at you and tell you, you're not white. I mean, you're total opposite of the spectrum. So, I mean, that's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? It's very different from somebody else that's from other cultures that might fit their hue of skin or in many different variations. This variation doesn't come in white. So at that point, you just literally got to, sometimes assimilation can turn into mental illness. Did you know that? You can have a mental illness from being assimilated, you know? And so the reason I say this is because listen to what I just described to you, and that's total opposite of what you guys are seeing nowadays. What you're seeing nowadays is most minorities are trying to assimilate. That is their modus operandi and their guide. They've been trying to do these same maneuvers for God knows how long, like since the days of the freaking the plantation. They've tried to do these techniques, you know, get in favor with massa. You know what I'm saying? That'll be the way we get out from the field and into the house. No, you got to have the proper DNA to go from the field to the house. That's the part they don't tell you. So, and I mean that respectfully, meaning if you don't have certain attributes that are commonly, like that, there's a passage in the Bible that says this: I am black and comely. It means I am black and beautiful. Or you could be white and uncomely as well. My point I'm getting at is there's certain people that want to assimilate because they think it's a key to financial freedom. It's a segue to financial freedom. It's a segue to superstardom. Well, you kind of sound like you make the same sacrifices that you're pointing your finger at some of these artists have made. That's what that says to me. Wouldn't that say that? Wouldn't that say that to you guys too? If you're willing to sacrifice your dignity, your pride, everything that you have on the line for a couple seconds of being on YouTube or any of these other platforms, at that point you have said to society, I'm willing to make a sacrifice too. And that's where the real simulation comes into play. See, the real simulation of nowadays versus of old is that you play into the form of being a servant. If you are not willing to be subservient, well, you will be now typecasted and outcasted. Now, many people will think, oh, they just do this with Black Americans. Oh, they did this with indentured servants too. You need an example? Go watch the movie 12 Years a Slave. You will see a character that Ben Affleck plays in that movie, which is that of an indentured servant. Ironically enough, an Irish indentured servant. Ask Anton LaVey Atwood. He knows about this. Y'all used to be on the docks right down there in Maryland, didn't you? And they couldn't stand you. Now, with that being said, you also was over in Seneca Village, which is now Central Park West, and you were amongst the first Americans in this country that owned homes and lived right beside Black Americans. This is a fact. I've covered this story. It's on my page. You know what I mean? In person. Not just regurgitating shit. I went there in person. And so I say all that to say this. If you have not grown up around whites, if you've not been around whites your whole entire life or whatever, you may think certain times when they're talking to you, they're being nice to you. Oh, they're so nice. Well, that's always been the key. That's always mistress. She would torture the slaves and be sitting there smiling as she did it. You know, there's a couple of times in the movie, even the movie I mentioned, 12 Years as a Slave, they buttered him up before they kidnapped him and took him back into servitude. Do y'all not remember the movie? You understand what I'm saying? In the movie Django Unchained, Calvin Candy was quite the gentleman until he felt that he was getting duped when Stephen put him on. Stephen put him on. You know, Stephen put him on. Following me here? So what you got to understand is there's always going to be these people that are in positions where they think that, and even that fallback, they think that their assimilation is substituted for reward, and that they've been able to connect that, you know what I mean, the colloquialism. So it's a colloquialism I'm using, but they've been able to connect that some weird way or another. So with this Sheila that they're over there in Anton LaVey Atwood's channel talking to, she's a low grade witch, but she's a witch. I don't care what nobody says. I said it on day one. I'll say it again. That woman, I honestly and truthfully believe, is using the old technique of old Dutch and farmland Australian prison colony reverse psychology, which the British used to keep the Australian prisoners in guard and in line. Isn't that right, Anton LaVey Atwood? Same techniques. And she gave it away when she said one particular phrase. The person they call Jay-Z. The person they call Diddy. Let me tell you about these terms right here. These terms, when you say, and you heard something echo this term when you watched the movie Django Unchained. It was when they got back to the plantation or whatever. And he said, Dr. Schultz said, what about Heidi? And he said, Dr. J, what about Heidi? He said, yeah, what about him? What about him? What about him? Now that what about him, it comes from the Dutch. And this is how the way they spoke, which is later transitioned into different cultures from these same Dutch settlers here. You know, the Quakers, even the Mennonites. They were some of the blacks that worked alongside the if y'all don't know who the Mennonites are, they're in Pennsylvania too. They dress just like the Quakers, but it's actually a cult. It's a culture within a culture and a religion within a religion. But the Mennonites, I think that's how I'm saying their name right. The Mennonites or Melanites or whatever. They're kind of like the same thing. You have black sections of them, you have white sections of them, but they're just almost unilateral on that Pentecostal type of, I don't know how to say it, like the Quakers, but they're different in tradition, but all Dutch oriented. They're all Dutch. And so that's why they used to say it. "Hey, what about them?" You know, because the Dutch, a lot of times, they used to work with these slavers in one form or another. You know what I mean? Um, New York itself, a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people don't get the fact. New York and New Jersey and Connecticut, I'll give you a perfect example. New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut are from three different people, but they're all European. For example, New York's original name is New Amsterdam. We have over by Bryant Park, we have this huge statue in the front of Bryant Park. I'm gonna go film it for you. And it's to commemorate the Dutch settlers that emphasized and built up New York City. But prior to them, it was the English that were in New York City. Now, if you come to Connecticut, it's totally different. We're talking about a fresh new set of 13 colonies, the second wave of 13 colonies versus the first ones that registered all the way from Florida, I think, to Pennsylvania. And so the second set of colonies were all the way from anything, I think it was anything from New Hampshire on down, but based off of landing on Plymouth Rock, which Plymouth Rock is a real place. I've been up there before. If y'all donate, I'll go up there and take a trip up there for y'all, do a day trip or something so y'all can see it for yourself. But I tell y'all all the time, donate. I would love to work in that form for my audience, but y'all don't want to allow that for some reason. So, oh well, but if you want to, the Cash App is right there. Anyway, long story short, um, those sects made up what you now call the New England states. So where I live at here in Connecticut is considered the New England states. Anything from here all the way up to Maine, New Hampshire, and all that, right? And it's made up of different people. Like the people that made up here were the Gnostics. The people that made up Pennsylvania were the Pilgrims. You'll see this within their laws. Like, for example, Massachusetts is a Commonwealth state, where Connecticut is not. It's a constitutional state. You get what I'm saying? But the distance between them is literally about 2.5 hours. I mean, like if you're in the northern part of the state, I mean, within, I don't know, under 45 minutes, you could be in Massachusetts. You know, if you live in Hartford, all you got to do is drive across state line and you're right there. So these are all the New England states. I say all this to put an emphasis that the Dutch had a lot of emphasis on the culture here in the New England states. Now, when you go down to Jersey, it's the same thing. It's a battle between the Dutch and the English or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? With both of them winning with Jersey, where you got the southern part of the states mostly, mostly English now, and the northern part of the state mostly Dutch now. You know what I'm saying? Like you can look this up for yourself. I know about heart, but if you don't, you need confirmation, like many of y'all do, go look it up for yourself. Now, how is this all relevant to Sheila? Well, listen here, Sheila. And a lot of y'all gonna be mad at me because y'all took a liking to her. I get it, but you'll find out. Trust me. They always find out. I've had this happen to me a million times in life. It don't bother me no more. I see shit before it happened, the way it is. That Sheila that they got over there with Anton LaVey Atwood, she's no good. She said several terms that women like her in particular, I'm very quick to pick up. Especially, no offense, respectfully, white women such as your elk. Say, in many white circles, oh, Sheila and the things that she does are not accepted in white culture. She knows that, and I know that. Ain't that right, Sheila? So, with Sheila, over there at Anton LaVey Atwood's page, Sheila, in my opinion, don't like niggas. But it's a certain type of nigga that she don't like. She don't like rich niggas. And I found the same thing with Anton LaVey Atwood to a certain extent, but not to the extent of her. Anton LaVey Atwood is kind of like, well, you know, if they like Denzel Washington, that's cool. But Sheila, on the other hand, when you refer to the one, you know, the one they call Puffy, the one they call Jay-Z, really, got you. And that's not the first time I caught you saying some of those little slick little colloquiums that women such as your ilk in your culture say to actually hide what you're really saying. Ain't that right, Sheila? Say, I've been around you motherfuckers all my life, and I know when you say some shit. and you're trying to hide it from what you really feel, or you'll say something that's synonymous with what you're really saying or whatever. But I'm gonna tell you, and like I said, I never get any thanks for this shit, but I do it anyway. Y'all watch that fucking fuck. Trust me when I said it. Trust me when I said it. One of the biggest guises that women of her ilk do, and if you need any confirmation on this, even though I don't mess with dude, go over there and check King Payne. He'll tell you. First conversation we ever had was about this shit right here and the practices they have in Brooklyn and things like that. You know what I mean? But not from the aspect of a pagan. I'm not a pagan. No, tú sabes, la gente latino, tú sabes, claro, pero un chengo, varú, tú sabes. Esa no es diferente, tú sabes, esa es la bruja ahí, tú sabes, claro. So, la mujer es la bruja, tú sabes, no quiere un negro, tú sabes. Pues esta puñeta puta no tiene chavo. Esa porque esta mujer es tan blanquita ahí, hablo con la negro. La negros en un chavo, pero no cachapan, tú sabes. Esta puñeta mujer aquí se no gusto eran negros. Esta puñeta es un caspa. Anyway, long story short, y'all keep sitting over there trusting Sheila. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Sheila got one up her sleeve. See, and I listened to this from the over there, Barney Rubble and Popcorn. That motherfucker look just like Barney Rubble. Hey, Fred. Ass looking motherfucker. Hey, Fred. Looking motherfucker. I do not like that dude. He tries too hard. Tough ass nerd. You tough ass nerd. Anyway, listen. I ain't gonna make this too long, but to you anti-Diddy, I mean anti-Jaguar, right? Personalities. I mean, excuse me, anti-Jay-Z and anti-Diddy personalities that are doing your due diligence. Watch who the fuck y'all talk to. And watch what the fuck y'all say on it. Because, not because I'm against you. I'm not against you. I feel like if there's something to be told here and it's true, it should be told. You understand what I'm saying? That's streets. And what you'll find, if you just shut the fuck up, is a lot of us see it the same fucking way. You get me? So, what I would say is, let the cards roll out the way they do. You don't need to add salsa marinara. So just to repeat this one more time, because I started talking about old Sheila. Y'all watch that motherfucker. I know what I'm talking about. I live in an all-white state. I've been around Italians and Greeks my whole fucking entire life. I know when a motherfucker is saying some shit and what they really mean. They have a double entendre on what they mean. Well, sure, nigga, you can help us out. I mean, hell, this is a hell of a story. Come on over. Sit on down. And the moon and the stars and the quasars and unicorns and shit, they get you with that shit. Trust me. I used to go to a coffee shop. You know what I'm saying? Who remember Bean and Leaf? You from the town, you know what I'm talking about. There used to be about several of them esoteric hoes up in there. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. It used to be them esoteric motherfuckers. They be up in here in the moon and the stars and the quasars and the planets aligning and all that shit and all that shit and all that shit. Let me tell you, yes, that shit has some significance individually to you. Your cards and your stars in alignment are not the same as somebody else's cards and stars in alignment. Your cards and stars in alignment are not in the same destiny as somebody else's cards and stars in alignment. If that was the truth, everybody would go after being a lawyer instead of being a mechanic, a baker, and a fucking whatever else. You understand what I'm saying? Alignments are not together. There's not no divine. And anybody that knows this truly, not that D-list witch shell over there talking to, you understand what I'm saying? If anybody knows what I'm talking about, that's as much as prone to how you're judged in Hades or how you're judged on Judgment Day. It's individuals, not as a group. It's not going to be a chakra. It's not going to be a fucking. It's none of that. It's none of that. It's none of that. And one of the books I want you guys to read is the Epic of Gilgamesh. Make sure you read that book. It was one of the books I read probably some 16, 17 years ago now. I got to get caught back up on it a little bit more. That and Dante's Inferno. Read all three if you can. The one you'll find the most interesting is Ascension, I think. And Inferno. The first one's kind of weird. It was like a whole bunch of poems. I mean, the whole shit is a bunch of poems, really, but you know what I mean? Anyway, I'll say to Jaguar, write this. Huggy, if you're listening to me, you hear me? Back to that space again. Calm that shit down. All right? Calm that shit down. Don't go in here yapping and camping with these niggas or whatever, especially in the urban space. And if I were you, you know how they feel about you in the urban space. I know how they feel about me in the urban space. I should be papered up. You understand what I'm saying? They go as far as even flagging my shit, everything else or whatever. Not it too much, you know what I mean? Porque yo tiene la gente la quiero, tú sabes, cada chavo, vaya la gente. So I don't be worried about shit, you know what I'm saying? That's just what it is for me. You know what I mean? And I'm cool, I can accept that. You know what I'm saying? It makes them lose no sweat off me. What I will say this, you now have individuals that are not of the culture that are milking in on that opportunity to grab money off black personalities. So you basically you exchanging one form of slavery for another. Get what I'm saying? Pay attention to your tactics that you're employing. Do they mimic the same techniques that you say were employed in the music industry? If so, at one point or another, a motherfucker got to wake up and say, well, maybe I learned from the best because this shit is working. Right? I mean, if that's what you're saying, I mean, like it would be don't you see that being like kind of hypocritical? The same techniques, lying, manipulation, PR campaigns. Listen, I come from a day, and I'll tell you straight, I'm not gonna say who, but I remember when niggas used to sign for multiple record companies. And anybody tell me I'm lying, fuck you. Niggas from multiple record companies would sign niggas and shelf their asses. When my shit coming out? 2000 and never. It was niggas that would get your word, my mother. It was niggas that would get signed just so niggas could stop them. For real, this is real talk. But you had to be there. If you wasn't there, you don't know this. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't like these Johnny come lately ass podcasters to be on cap all the time. To be like, come on, tell us something else. Like, oh, I got to go back to Sheila one more time. This chick had the audacity. Listen, the Sheila he be having, Anton LaVey Atwood, that Sheila he be having on there, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. This bitch about 485 years old, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Sheila about 765 years old, though. I ain't gonna hold y'all. The Sheila about 910 years in vampire years. She 910 years old in vampire years. I'm trying to tell you. Ah. Sheila, where in the fuck were you? Because even 20 years ago, how old was you there? You was about like what? 48? What the fuck? Oh shit. This is where the shit don't be making sense. How old were you in 2000, Sheila? Witch Hazel. How old was Witch Hazel back in 2000? She had to be, what was she, 67? Oh, where the fuck were you at an MTV event? And this broad said, per diem. You understand what I'm saying? Per diem. She said, yo, On my word. The limo drivers used to ride around and they would look for young girls for the record companies. Everybody knows this. And I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck do you know, bitch? See, if you got a target and that's what it is, and there's some substantiability under it, I'm cool with that. But you go tell that old hoe I said it. Bitch, you out your motherfucking mind. Are you out your fucking mind? Like that shit you say sound crazy. Like this bitch just threw every black man in the industry under the bus, every black and Latin man under the bus, and made try to make everybody look like it was a predator. And there's a high fortuitous rate of people that are going to believe her just because she's white. And that's the truth. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the power behind what this bitch knows. This bitch at any time can switch up the conversation. I'm talking about Anton LaVey Atwood's whole Sheila he got over there. That bitch got a whole bunch to say. I'm like, how old was you 20 years ago? You was 48, 56. How old was this bitch? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, when the fuck were you around in Midtown Manhattan for any of the events around? When the fuck have you been around Puff, Sheila? When the fuck have you been around Jay-Z, Sheila? You understand what I'm saying? So this shit got me fucked up, bro. And if y'all wondering why I keep calling her Sheila, ask motherfucking Anton Atwood LaVey. You understand what I'm saying? He gonna tell you why I'm calling her Sheila. He know why I'm calling her Sheila. Like I said, I've been around Irish people too. So for me, and I'm just saying for me, it comes to a constitution at some point or another in the conversation when you have to ask, what are the motives of his Sheila? Superstardom and recognition. If you dealing with that Sheila, watch yourself. Watch yourself. She's gonna probably get bored up on something. You know what I mean? She's probably gonna get bored up on something. And that's why I'm trying to tell you, Huggy. There's some bigger things going on, Huggy. Move out the way. Sometimes you can get what you want from people you don't think you was getting it from. So, like I said, to Huggy Pampers, it ain't a warning, it ain't a suggestion. Just listen. Move the fuck out the way. That's all you gotta do. You ain't gotta talk, you ain't gotta scream, you ain't gotta holler, you ain't gotta do none of that. Just shh and watch the show. Okay? Because for me, when you're over there, you're talking to them motherfuckers over there. And I heard something you said tonight too. You call what you call star. He's half a what? But you sitting with who? Okay, Ashante. See, you know, I don't have to do it like that. Watch saying shit like that on camera too. All right, watch saying shit like that on camera. That ain't gonna work for you. I need you to stay over there. Okay, I need you to stay over there. I got a reason behind that. But as you know, as I know, Huggy, you know who I know, and I know who you know, and you know who I know. And so, like, my thing is, I'm not gonna snitch on you. But once the shit is on the internet, you know it's hard to avoid. You do know that, right? And so the reason I knew the reason I knew Star was live was mostly because of his title. Somebody sent it to me. He was like, yo, they talking about your chick. I was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, let me see what this niggas is talking about. So I opened it up. And I was like, wow, he played back Storm shit. And it wasn't the fact that what Huggy said. And I'm not going to repeat what Huggy said. She got to deal with that on her own. I made that promise before I began this video. I don't need to sensationalize what I'm talking about because if I do that, she ain't going to get the fucking point. The point is, watch what the fuck you say before you Misha shit up. You understand what I'm saying? That goes for you too, Huggy. So listen, when y'all talking to these people and y'all giving this information that y'all giving to these folks that y'all having these conversations with, whether it be Barney Rubble over there, fry some popcorn. That nigga look like he fried popcorn. Like, that nigga look like he got a whole Sour Patch Candy sausage workhouse over that motherfucker, you big tubby fuck. I think it look like you make sour worm sausage. Oh shit. Gummy bear sausages and shit. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Damn. Shit, man. Shout out to Craig Smith. That's what that second part was Craig Smith shit. I can't even take that away from him. I said that nigga look like he makes sour patch candy sausages. Some shit. Big fat motherfucker talking all that shit he talking. He be over there talking Casper, the pale ghost. This bitch over there with our fucking prepackaged baby dolls on the wall. Shit. I said, what side of north of Texas and the hills have eyes is this shit built? What the fuck? That shit look like a whole horror show. Like, what the fuck? This bitch got Alf. A lot of you not even gonna hold you. I was like, this is a grown ass woman. This bitch got Alf, the Smurfs, and a whole bunch of baby dolls that are like fucking still in the package, but perfectly placed in this little fucking, I don't know. That room look unfurnished than a motherfucker. I'm sorry. And this bitch is trying her hardest to be down. Well, you know, then Diddy, you know what I'm saying? I know one podcast, she said, if Diddy comes after me, I got my gun and I'll shoot back and then blah, 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 blah. I said, bitch, you. Oh, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. I know this shit don't make sense to you. Y'all think I'm rambling. I'm so coherent in what I'm saying, and only the people that understand what I'm saying are gonna understand. A lot of times I'm on top of things before y'all get privy to them. This is one of them situations. So if you listening, you listen. If you're not listening, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I've like that's why you'd never be able to bother me with too much because I really don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? They shit. Anyway, Huggy, watch what you say on these airways with these motherfuckers. That's number one. Number two, watch who you sit with. I don't think it's a good idea in the place and position that you in right now, Huggy, to sit around with urban markets anymore. You understand? The T sector or section is coming to a conclusion. Please believe that. By March or April, you will start to see a significant decline in that area. Trust me when I tell you that. They will have no choice. It's the most beautiful shit I ever seen in my life. Go, please be encouraged to go back and look at some of my old podcasts and listen to them in the entirety. And so you'll realize, oh shit, he said that shit then. Anyway, long story, believe me, don't believe me. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. But I did say it. And I'll say again, this whole tea factory shit is coming to a close. Because now, ironically enough, I just heard when they caught the killer that killed, what's his name now? Luigi. I told everybody that motherfucker wasn't white. I know a Latino or Italian when I see what I said. I don't think that dude's white. I can just look at his features and tell he's not white. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's not neither here nor there. Because a lot of people believe that Italian is white. Italian is not white. Not at all. The only Italian you'll get that are really white like that are Napolese. Calabrese, they're not like that. Turks, they're not like that either. They either got some darkness to them or some tan to them. Napolese, they look like they're white. You know what I mean? The ones in Nap, because they mix with so many different things. But I know Calabrese, I know Turks, I know, you know what I mean? Those are the type of people I know. Few Sicilians here and there, not many. I never met really many Sicilians in my life, but that's what I know. But anyway, that's another subject. Anyway, long story short, I don't know why I got into that, but I was just thinking about something. if you're on here and you're certainly you're talking to these people, Jaguar, please be aware that a lot of these people, they have not your best interest in heart. They're looking at the dollar amount attached to you, and in some cases, what you're charging these people. And so you got to be aware that sooner or later they're gonna toss you away. You should have learned this by now. You know what I'm saying? If ain't shit else you didn't learn on this YouTube shit, you should have learned that. These things they're gonna toss you. Just like an artist, they're gonna toss you. You know how that feel. I know how I feel. Right? That's something we could agree with. We know how that feels. You know what I mean? They're gonna toss you. And so, with that being said, and y'all don't know what that feeling feels like. It's the most empty feeling in the world. The best way I've ever found to articulate it is this way. Imagine that you have one God-given talent that you're very, 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 very good at, right? And you make sacrifices in your life now to maintain the reality or the possibility of having that talent expound into making money and being your life and being something that is truly the definition of your happiness within. You understand what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with that. That's a childhood dream or whatever you want to say or whatever. And the greatest of all musicians will tell you this. Stevie Wonder, all of them, they'll tell you, I started this as a child. Whitney Houston, she started as a child. Dionne Warwick, she started as a child. All these people, they started as children. I started having the idea of being a musician because I was around music so much when I was young. I was around Caribbean music. I was around Black American music. I was around rock. I was around so many different music genres. That's why I can recite the lyrics, everything. The other day, I was singing one of these old rock songs, and somebody was like, "How the fuck do you know the lyrics to that and sound good while you know the lyrics?" So I swear to God to you, I was like, because I've known this song my whole entire life. So I'm telling you that one of the most painful things that me or Jaguar, Wright, and Gary, Choke, any of us, all of us share in common is that we actually, no matter what capacity it is, you know, no matter what capacity. What's up, Kara? No matter what capacity is, the one thing we can all agree on is this much. We all had that one wish since we were younger to make not only a life, but an ever existent life. So we have this one moment. That one moment is called this. It's called bliss. You know, in the end of all this, all the arguments, all the disagreements, and everything else, that's the one thing right there that all us musicians have in common. This is the way we this is the way we express ourselves. This is the way we talk to the public. This is the way that we always saw ourselves. That's why I don't stop. That's why I don't stop. I mean, hell, it was a mantra of the company I was with. Can't stop, won't stop. I will not stop. Even if Puff goes away, I won't stop. You know what I'm saying? But it's and I have to live with that reality. It's a possibility that Puff might go away and never come back ever again, and that's quite a possibility. And you have to take that in order and consideration. You know what I mean? It's also more of a chance he could walk. So anyway, you know what I mean? And no matter how you feel about it, you know, that's just what it is. Me, it's a little bit different. I say before, imagine you work for somebody. You know, a nigga to tell you you shouldn't give a fuck about somebody you work for 17 years, give a fuck about their well-being or whatever. They go and let you know early on before you even become their friend what type of person they are. If they're judging somebody for that or telling somebody, like I got one particular guy right now that's running around literally on double time telling people, yeah, he's a Diddy supporter. Don't listen to him and da 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 without giving them detail. Oh, yo, he worked for the nigga for 17 years. I can see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I get that. You know, like niggas sitting around trying to see what's going on. Like, all right, let's see what's happening. You know what I mean? And then whatever it is after that, it is after that. But real street niggas, nah, niggas ain't, including niggas that are in the industry, ain't going, like if the outcome is different than other than what it is, and there's overwhelming proof to say, hey, and I'm talking about overwhelming proof. I'm not talking about circumstantial proof. I'm talking about overwhelming proof to prove, like, oh, there's no doubt about it. This nigga did that shit. Nah, I can't stand behind that shit. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see other niggas. That'll be the moment niggas speak out, speak out. And I think some of y'all suckers for that. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. There's a lot of suckers niggas that I thought was 100 niggas. It's really some sucker niggas in the industry for real. For real. Sucking nigga on so many platforms. Like, nigga, really what you really accustomed to is just being around a circle of other rich niggas. And it all boiled down to it. You all used to being around a circle of other rich niggas. How do I know? Because I spent 17 years around you rich motherfuckers. Makes sense? That was my experience. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you how many fucking Lamborghinis and boy, I was running four-door Porsches when them bitches first came out. Um, Bentley coupes, Bentleys. Y'all done seen pictures with me in Bentleys, outside of Bentleys, all kinds of shit. I did all that shit. That's nothing. That's why I'm so fucking enthusiastic bouncing it back. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why I said I'm doing other things, gaining weight, eating. You know what I'm saying? Trying to take care of myself. I let a lot of myself go doing this vlogging shit. And I was like, yo, I can't do that shit like that. Because if you do, eventually what starts to happen is you start to tire yourself out from doing this vlogging shit. Because I'm different. I travel for my vlogging. And it's like, oh my God. Like last night when I was in New York, I was there for something. I was there for something. And I appreciate niggas being like, yo, make sure he here. I appreciate that. I feel like I really was recognized last night on some, I see you, little nigga, you trying to come back. And I was like, yeah, nigga, you better believe it. I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna happen just like that. You know what I mean? That's when I was like my revenge. Cause everybody that didn't fuck with me, watch them get on my dick. You know what I'm saying? Hey yo, can I? Fuck nah. That nigga Mike Jones back then didn't want me. Now man, y'all on me. Nah, I ain't fucking with you. I ain't fucking with you. I mean on that shit with me. Yo, that's what my mans always do. You nah, nigga, fuck that. I ain't fucking with you. No, you can't come on the show, nigga. No, you can't get in the show, nigga. No, you can't come to the after party, nigga. Nah, I don't want you here. I don't want you around for the photo. I don't need no photo out with you, niggas, to blow your shit up. Now, I don't do photos with niggas, son. I charge $150 per photo. You know what I'm saying? For real. Now, I'm on all that bullshit. All that bullshit. For real. Because I feel like my audience is not the urban market. I don't register with the urban market no more because it's not even because of maturity. It's just because of the semblance of how they extract and delve into, how can I say, our stories nowadays. It's terrible. Everything is about drama. Everything is about exposed women, but not even women, but bad women. You understand what I'm saying? Like bad women sit around and gossip about people all the time. There used to be this character that used to be on the show called Living Color, right? And her name was Miss Benita. And Miss Benita used to always have this phrase. She said, I ain't the one to gossip, so you ain't heard it from me. Anybody remember Miss Benita? She used to be, I ain't the one to gossip, so you ain't heard it from me. Her character resonated with a lot of people that black people knew at that time, and they had come from their grandmothers' ages, their great grandmothers, which was you don't sit around and gossip about people because it's shameful. Somehow along the way, African Americans have let nigger culture supersede what we once had. And I don't like that. Nigger culture is not culture. Nigger culture is a celebration of chaos. And y'all don't see it. Even what they got us up here doing. That's why I refuse to argue with niggas online. That's why I even did this one right here about Jaguar the way I did it. I didn't mention what was said. But bitch, when you see this, remember what I said. Don't do that shit again, including don't lie to that nigga again. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I said that shit. You know what I'm talking about? And he will know what I'm talking about. And it's the Duke. Don't be so quick to jump up and puff and huff. You're too old for that. You need to start sitting back, contemplating, saying some shit. Don't always be like, stand by my woman. Listen to what the fuck's being said sometimes because you miss some key points. You let a nigga say, yo, listen, that nigga over there screaming right now. Da 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 da. You was right on one point, nigga trying to start beef. That's what they was trying to do. But the point is, the beef already been started when y'all argued with her. Now she from the Northeast. She know the vibe. She know how I go. When we beef up here, let me put y'all on the sun. We always beefing with you. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no, especially if you Latino or Caribbean. Yo, fuck that nigga. Like, listen, if we beefing, we always beefing. The only way back is if you a guy, if I'm a girl and you excuse me, if you a girl and I'm a guy, we end up fucking or something like that. That's the only way back from it. Other than that, like there's no way back from it. Like and you know what I'm saying? Like we beefing, we beefing. Who disagree with that in New York City tri-state area? Please write something in the fucking chat room. And we beefing with you, especially Latinos and fucking this Caribbean people. No, nigga, we going to the end. Fuck you. And fuck everybody you know. Hey, for real. I don't know. That's how I feel. So like when niggas be like, I don't know, on one hand, they be saying certain shit or whatever. I'll be like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Like the nigga pork chop. What kind of suck ass nigga goes around and tells people, yo, don't donate to somebody? Like if that was a nigga on the block, he'd be like, yo, don't fuck with them niggas up the hill. Them niggas got trash. And the niggas got the gold spot for the streets. Yo, niggas will wash that nigga. Like it's for real. So I don't be understanding that shit. Like, word, what kind of, that's why I said these tough ass nerds they be having with this motherfucker. Oh, tough ass nerds. Y'all to see this one motherfucker be talking about me. I'm like, yo, son, do you realize I like for real, son? Like for real, I leave that nigga look like the Joker, nigga. Like for real. I don't like that nigga. For real. Anyway, long story short, like I just say, yo, man, y'all gotta be more careful what y'all say online. Cause there's people out here that are looking, they listening, they watching, they looking for you to fuck up. You got me, Huggy? So like stop talking to these niggas like, you know what I mean, so frivolously, especially niggas in the urban market. And if you go back, I think that podcast was maybe about 2 days ago. You might have to listen to my last two. You gonna hear me say it in the podcast. I say, don't go over there talking that Storm Monroe nigga because of the type of shit he bring. You go over there thinking it's a goof and it's a play. I'm like, nah, you need to move away from the urban market, bitch. Don't stick with the urban market. You understand what I'm saying? Like, leave the urban market alone. That's just a waste of time. You understand what I'm saying? Like, in that aspect of the story that you have, it's a waste of time. You understand what I'm saying? You going over there talking to all the Chitlin circuit, bitch, you over here Rockefeller Center. You see what I'm saying? So it's like in tradition when everybody's done the same thing, you gotta let them know when to graduate. Sometimes you gotta go from the independent label to the major. You understand what I'm saying? So you still trying to hold on to the independent label. Fuck the independent label. They wasn't serving you no purpose anyway. Them niggas did everything, and it was the same motherfuckers from that chitlin circuit now come over to the white podcasters and tell them, guess what? I've got some information on Jaguar right now. Psst, 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 psst. Oh, punk ass motherfuckers. For real. Seriously, man. It be too much sucker shit. That's why I be like, yo, man, niggas would have been done these niggas dirty. Been done these niggas dirty, son. I know motherfucker was talking shit about. I pulled up in Baltimore, like what's happening? And no people in Baltimore had to do dirty chicks with it. Like hold the whole night. Who's looking pretty down there? Like what's happening? Like you know what I mean? But yo, man, I'm trying to tell you, like, yo, listen, man. Salud a las mujeres las Honduras. Tú sabes, las mujeres son negras. Ya, esposa, tú sabes, ¿no? Pero que sí, esta es mi esposa. Uh, man, oh man. Anyway, Lord, I was just thinking about some shit. Anyway, man, yeah, Jag, watch what you doing, man. Watch what you doing. Watch what you say. You gotta say certain shit just to pop off. Let shit be where it is. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you ain't gotta do no talking, but when you do too much talking, trying to fit yourself into the storyline, that could be detrimental. And don't lie to your mans. Yeah, the dude like you, but once you do that, you fuck with a nigga mind. A nigga stop fucking with you like that. You understand what I'm saying? Now you a little big in the hip nowadays. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because you was a small bitch about 2 years ago. I don't know what happened. You need to leave that Uber Eats alone, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That ain't your friend. Leave them Uber Eats alone, Huggy. You know what I'm saying? Leave them Uber Eats alone, Huggy. You know what I'm saying? No, you like your Uber Eats. You cooking now though. You back in the kitchen, so I give you that. Congrats for moving in your new apartment. I appreciate, I appreciate seeing that. You know, niggas be on here trying to talk about niggas is homeless and all that shit or whatever and all that. That was also started by that little funny looking man. That look like a fun. That's a funny looking little motherfucker right there, boy. For real, I dead serious. Listen. I put that nigga a polka dot shirt. They said I can't miss. Oh boy. Anyway, yeah, that nigga he went all everywhere, um, just talking all kinds of shit in these private rooms and shit. Peace, peace. What's going on, G? So just to give you a recap what this whole thing's about real quick before I get up out of here, because I don't sit here too long, niggas don't support my channel. Evidently it's sacrilegious. I ask for donations. Any other vlogger can except for me. I'm the only one that can because the black delegation has decided so. Told you them niggas is terrorists, my nigga. Trust me. If you're just now tuning in or whatever the case may be, I was just talking about a few words that have been said earlier tonight in some video that was played by the Star Report concerning Jaguar Wright. And something in particular she had said that a lot of people, kind of felt an emotion to. I'm gonna say that. I'm not gonna say what was said because that's not my modus operandi here. Not on this one. You know what I'm saying? I know she was smoking the joint in that video too, weren't you? So, maybe she perhaps was confused in her words. And she didn't mean to exactly say that. Maybe she has a faint remembrance. So let's say it that way. So I can assure, since you didn't say these words, as you told your man earlier tonight, Star Monroe shouldn't have no problem putting that video on private. Now, should you there, Star? Sounds good. Y'all have a good night.